Well, that was disappointing. I woke up this morning to watch Nintendo's Partner Direct, the first Direct they've done for 2026. And going into it, I think the biggest project that people were kind of expecting to get shown off again here was the Duskbloods from FromSoft, as well as potentially an update on the Tarnished edition of Elden Ring, the Switch 2 port. And we got nothing. Instead, we, at the very end, they're like, we have one more partner to show off, and we are greeted with Todd Howard's face as he says, basically, we're doing 3 more ports of Fallout 4, Oblivion Remaster, and Indiana Jones. And while those are perfectly fine games, I don't have a problem with those games being ported to Switch. I've put countless hours into Fallout 4, many hours into the Oblivion remake, and Indiana Jones is on my to-play list. I haven't gotten to it yet. You know, going into this, expecting to hear any information about one of their biggest announcements that we're coming up on a year ago. This was announced back in March of last year, and we've since heard nothing since the Miyazaki interview on this game, and everything since then has been about the Tarnished edition, for basically being Tarnished itself. It is, last we heard, was running very poorly on the Switch 2, and was just needing more time to cook before they were ready to release it, even at 30 FPS. It was seeing terrible stutters. It just was not in a great playable state, and fortunately Bandai Namco and FromSoft decided, hey, we need to hold off on releasing this. All of this said, we are coming up on a year of the announcement of the Duskbloods, and we have no information on when this game might possibly release, other than when it was announced that it was coming in 2026. We're 2 months in, we've still heard nothing about even like a window. Is it summer? Is it fall? I'm not thinking it's going to be like a late spring situation. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they just come out of nowhere and they're like, okay, we're gonna drop it in a month. It's possible. I don't see that being likely. I think at the earliest we see it will be summer, but it does kind of raise a lot of eyebrows. Again, this morning we were all expecting to come out of that presentation with at least a release date and maybe some more footage, and we got nothing. Not even a hint. Not anything from FromSoft. Not anything with Elden Ring. Not anything with Duskbloods. And so it's kind of like, well, what gives? What's going on? Is there a quiet delay of this game because of performance with the Tarnished edition? Is the game not even fully optimized yet? And that might be the case. Maybe they are trying to optimize this game better. I would hope to hit a target of 60 FPS at the bare minimum, this being a multiplayer online game. I think that's something that they just can't drop the ball on, ideally. As I said in my previous video on the Duskbloods, it would be crazy if we get yet another gothic horror FromSoft game locked at 30 FPS. But, I mean, who knows? We'll just have to see. Time will tell. We just don't have any information on it, and it's unfortunate that we didn't get any information today. And we're not sure when that next information dump is going to be. Like, is it going to be, I mean, we have Summer Games Fest coming up in several months, but, I'm not entirely sure in terms of events where they might want to start, dropping some stuff. And this is the only Nintendo Direct that's been announced, and this is the only Nintendo Direct we've had so far this year. I remember when it was announced, I was assuming it might be a March release going into 2026, announce it a year ahead. But it's looking more and more likely that it could be, a year and a half after announcement. Maybe, getting close to 2 years, depending on when they release it. If they release it towards the end of this year, we just really don't know. In all honesty, there's no new information in this video. Nothing else, that isn't already publicly available or I didn't talk about in my previous video on my concerns with the Duskbloods. Again, mainly being performance. Is it going to be locked at 30 FPS? Are we even going to get to like 4K or anything like that? I'm not so much worried about resolution as I am frame rate, but I mean, if we can hit 60 FPS 4K, that would be incredible. But my biggest concern is that frame rate, and are we going to get 60 or are we going to be stuck at 30? Because as far as we know, the Tarnished edition is not going to hit 60. At least when they showed it, it was a hard lock at 30. There was no performance mode to get it to 60. It is what it is, and even at that, it was kind of shaky. So that does kind of, alarm bells. Ideally, you would hope a game that's being made specifically for a console to be even better optimized for it. Whereas, you're taking Elden Ring that was designed for next gen, or I guess current gen consoles, the PS5, Xbox Series X, and you're trying to like compress it down to work on the Switch 2. There might be some issues there, and clearly there are, but if you're dealing with a game that's being built, we assume, from the ground up for the Switch 2, then maybe it's better optimized from the get-go. So is that a thing? Are we looking at quiet delays with this game? We have no idea, unfortunately. I wish I could be here. I was hoping today to make a video on, oh man, we got a new trailer. This is what we just found out. Here's a release date. Get ready. I'm excited. And instead, I'm sitting here like, what's next? When are we getting anything? And I do think we'll hear something. Hopefully before summer. I would hope, if we're trying to release within 2026, but we just don't know. And it's, kind of sad that, there's just nothing here today. It's disappointing. And to go into a partner direct where it's like, I'm not expecting, a big, a Zelda announcement for a new game or a 3D Mario. Like, I wasn't going in with those expectations. Some people online were like, oh, these people, they went in with so many expectations, they were disappointed. There just wasn't much of anything here. And it was largely ports with a couple new games. It's like, oh, this is also coming to Switch. The stuff we already knew was coming out to begin with, just like confirmed for the Switch 2. And some more Bethesda ports. Again, I don't have a problem with those games being on Switch 2. But when you're like, okay, here's our last big announcement, I'm like, okay, the one you ended on last year being FromSoft, we're gonna do it again, and we didn't. Instead, Fallout 4. I put hundreds of hours into that game. Oblivion Remaster. Good game. I really enjoyed it. Neither one of those I'm like interested in buying again for the Switch 2 unless I catch them on like a really deep discount. And, those are games that are probably going to sell for like $50, $60 a piece. And a remaster of a 2006 game and a port of a 2015 game at $60 for Fallout 4. I'm assuming Oblivion Remaster is going to be probably $50. Unfortunately, guys, there's nothing new here. I mean, if you keep up with this stuff, you've already seen it, but if you don't, and you were like, okay, is there anything new with this game? Any new information? There's not. And we're just kind of waiting to see whenever we get something. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully in the next couple months, we at least get a little idea of like a release window. Maybe not even a month, just a window. And we just don't have it. Kind of weird that Nintendo didn't want to show this off. A console that, I'm gonna be honest, I really do like my Nintendo Switch 2, but I've only been playing older games that have just gotten patches to play better, like Animal Crossing. That one got a Switch 2 update not too long ago, and it's so good. I'm loving it. That game is like 6 years old. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom run incredible on the Switch 2. I've put hundreds of hours into those games. Like I'm like, 20, 30 minutes. Okay, this is cool. And I haven't picked them up since then. And I just haven't had that game personally. That makes me go, man, I'm excited for the future of this console. The Duskbloods is that game, but we just don't have any information on it. So unfortunately, I'm not here giving you a bunch of new information, being all excited. This was a letdown. And, I feel like it's not unreasonable to be let down by the fact that you didn't see a game that was kind of expected to be here, that was announced a year ago, coming from Nintendo, being in partnership with FromSoft at their partner direct, and it just not being here. It's not like I'm expecting Bloodborne 2 or Sekiro 2 on the Switch. No. Or like a new Mario game. This would have made perfect sense, and it's not here, and it's just very confusing. So hopefully next time I talk about Duskbloods, it will actually be about new information. So be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, leave comments about your thoughts on the whole situation. Were you disappointed? Did you have any expectations going into this? Let me know, and go check out my TikTok as well. I make a lot of posts, you know, kind of short form content, but usually about the same stuff over there too. So anyway, I'll catch you guys later.